Welcome to the Headspace and Tasting Podcast, where we talk manhood, tell stories, and discuss the stuff that matters to us one sip at a time.
What's up, Matt?
Hey, Kevin.
Thought I get the first word in this time.
Yeah, all right. Well, welcome back, folks, to the Headspace and Tasting Podcast. Thank you for listening. Make sure you please like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to try throwing that out at the beginning this time. If you're not already subscribed on Spotify, most of you are listening on Spotify, please do so. You can also see us on YouTube and Facebook. You can find us there. We are available for communication in the comment sections and also via email at showmemk@gmail.com. And that is Mike Kilo, showmemk.
Did you hear what the St. Louis Zoo was doing? Crazy.
No.
Story leaked that they were trying to toilet train the hippos there. But then I found out it was a hippopotty myth.
Oh my God, dude. Sorry, Lord. I didn't mean it.
I had to say it because my wife thinks our show's boring. So I was trying to liven it up.
Well, good thing she's not our demographic.
She told me that tonight.
She thought our show was boring?
She quit listening to our last show. It was boring, she said.
Oh, okay. Well, my wife loves me. She listens to all of our shows, regardless.
Oh, no, my wife loves me, and she still listens. She just thinks it's boring.
Okay, cool. We're not everybody's cup of tea.
It's not all rainbows and unicorns. I'm sorry, I'm not talking about,
our nails that we got done,
or some Asian tea concoction that's going to cure toe fungus or something. I don't know.
Maybe we're not controversial enough. Maybe is that what she means? We need to dive into the topics, the hot topics that are on the media.
Well, I can tell you about the socialists of my HOA. You need to mow the lawn and weed and maintain your landscaping, and you have 10 days. And it doesn't say what happens.
Or what.
Yeah. Right. It doesn't say what happens. And then we got another one for leaving my trash can out more than 24 hours.
Man.
Heaven forbid I pull it from the curb and not put it in the garage right away.
Right.
This is the thing when you live by a bunch of socialist retirees. Boomers.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, my neighborhood, the HOA.
I will never stop.
The baby boomers want to put a traffic circle in at a four-way intersection for no good reason, just to do it because they think it's cool, I guess. I don't know, but it'll end up taking off the corners of people's property. They're going to have to do, and take the easements. And
should have been pre-planning those things. I keep saying that. These people.
When you build the neighborhood, do it, and otherwise leave it alone.
Yep.
Like, why are we trying to spend more money? Why don't you give me some of my money back that was stolen out of my paycheck?
I always laugh at every single four-way intersection. They build it with no right turn lane, and then they come back 2 years later and close down the right lane for 6 months while they dig everything up to build a right lane. Why don't you just do it at the beginning?
Job security, man.
Oh, yeah. You're right. What was the movie with Mike Douglas where he just lost it?
Oh, Falling Down.
Falling Down, yeah. When he get ran into the road crews and then shoots the rocket accidentally under the sewer system. Yep.
Yeah. Everybody thinks he's the crazy one, but we're back on bourbon tonight.
Yay.
Finally. After 2 weeks. That last rye we tried was really good, though.
It sure was.
Yeah.
And we got more in our lineup.
Yeah, we'll be back on it.
We even have some whiskeys in our lineup.
We're going to do whiskeys. We're going to get into some scotch.
Yeah, they're in the lineup.
Tonight's bourbon is Redwood Empire Pipe Dream 101. It is a reserve blend. It's blended 5 to 15-year-old distillates. I guess Redwood does their own grain-to-glass distillate. And then on the back of the bottle in small letters, it says... it says distilled in California, Indiana, and Kentucky. So they probably bought some from MGP Probably bought some from either Jim Beam or Buffalo Trace, something like that, and then combine that with their own stuff that they make.
Probably Jim Beam.
This is out of Sonoma County, California. And obviously Redwood Empire is referring to the trees, the redwood trees. And Pipe Dream is the name of a famous redwood tree. And it says on here it's 367 feet tall. And what else? It's had its age on here too. The age of the tree. 1,340 years old. Nice. And they put the GPS coordinates to the tree, I guess, if you want to go find it. So this is what I say. This is 101 proof, the 50.5% alcohol. The mash bill is 73% corn, 19% rye, 5% barley, and 3% wheat.
It is an odd kind of label on the bottle.
Yeah.
Just some suited dude with...
What is that, grains, I guess?
Me walking by, at first, I thought it was a bunch of bananas coming out of his head.
Yeah.
Off his neck, because he has no head.
Is that supposed to be wheat, maybe?
Leaves? I don't know. Palm fronds?
Yeah, but I've passed this bottle up a number of times.
Same here.
Where I was like, I'm not drinking whiskey from California. There's no way.
Right, because we've been unlucky with Colorado.
Yeah.
So why keep going farther west?
Yeah. But I saw a bourbon hunter that I follow on YouTube mentioned this. He got a bottle of it. He's like, this is underrated. This is really underrated. So normally MSRP on this, I guess, would be about $50 to $55. I found it for $40, maybe $45 after taxes, at the local store down the street. And it looks like I went gold with a little bit of amber in there. It's kind of like a dark gold color, maybe.
You were higher than I am. I went right at the line between honey and gold.
Honey and gold. Okay. Yeah, I could see that. What'd you get for your
It kind of reminds me of a golden fireworks sparkler type thing that the kids would play with.
Okay.
On the nose, pretty simple. Actually, for me on the nose, it's a very mellow palate or aroma.
There you go.
Nothing really jumps out. So I had to really stew on this and think about it, but I ended up able to pull out a little bit of citrus and a little bit of maple, like maple syrup, like real maple syrup. And that was about it on the nose.
Okay.
Which was kind of disappointing until I tasted it.
Yeah. I got a little bit of like green apple and honey in there, but I could see the citrus a little bit. I could see that. How about taste?
Taste for me, certainly right on the front of the tongue. It's both tangy and spicy at the same time. When I first tasted it, it was one of those things that almost kind of, I felt like the color, the gold honey gold, it like sparkled in my mouth. Okay. You know, it was interesting. As soon as I tasted it, like, oh, I feel happy already.
Yeah, it's lively, like a real bourbon. Like, whoa. Wow.
And that was pretty good. As it started to settle, still in the mouth before I swallowed, started to get a little bit of weediness, which surprised me because it's only 3% out of all the others. But I was able to pull out a little bit of the weediness in it.
Okay. Yep. I wrote down a sweet pastry, like a bread. I don't know what kind of bread it would be, but like a sweet bread. I wanted to be careful saying that because I don't want to say sweet breads like pig brains.
Right. Well, let me help you out because this is what I had on the finish, and I realized as you're talking, this is what was happening. Because on the finish, I had a combination of red velvet and snickerdoodle bundt cake.
Oh, okay, bundt cake, yeah.
So the baking spice, everybody always says, it's got baking spice. What the hell do you mean by baking spice? Yeah, are you talking about what you put in for Italian
brown
stuff?
Sugar? Does that count?
Or it's more like holiday treats. And then so I started to think about this, really dig into what I was trying to think of. And it's like red velvet, snickerdoodle, bundt cake. And that's what I'm getting on the taste as well. And it's got a nice linger, slightly spicy, not
a little bit,
not a lot. Yeah, very enjoyable.
I got a little bit of apricot taste when I was tasting it as well. Light oak. I'm getting a little bit of oak on the finish. after a little bit. And as it's sitting in my glass, when you can smell a little bit of the oak too as it opens up.
And then the cake part, the other thing I noticed about it, where it really comes out is as soon as I swallow and I kind of exhale through my mouth, not my nose, across the tongue, I can really pick up that flavor.
Yeah. Yeah. It's surprising. I'll say that, which I like being surprised. Maybe because I didn't really have high expectations, just kind of had from the one YouTube video, I was like, man, I got to give it a shot because this guy usually likes the stuff that I enjoy too. And, California.
Well, we've liked it enough that we just started the show and we already drank the whole bottle. It was that good.
I've had this open for a week or so. So we just finished off the last little bit of it. So stick around to get our star rating. Did you rate it already, or are you going to wait till you finish?
Yeah, I already rated it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I could say what it is.
What do you get?
I'm not scared. People will stick to our show because they like our show, not just for the rating.
Unless they're bored.
Right.
How many stars did you give it out of 5?
I gave it 4.
Same here.
4
Solid
stars.
4 stars.
Yeah, it's a good
Easily
4 stars.
4. I'll purchase this bottle again.
Especially
if I can find it for $40. I think that's a steal.
Yeah, I've never had it before or never owned it on my own. I'll definitely buy it.
Yeah, it's a good one. And they have a bunch of different other releases. I think the highest priced one I saw was like $75 or $79. They have like a triple oaked version of it, which I'm a little leery of. It could get a little tannic maybe. But plus I just don't like spending that much for a bottle of whiskey. But the bottle sitting over there, better taste good, I should say that.
Yeah, share them with friends. I'll spend more money.
Yeah.
If I'm drinking on my own, I'm going to stick to the
Dude, Heaven Hill Bottle and Bond. That's like the best value I think is out there. That's a good bottle. All right. So 4 stars for Redwood Empire. Good job.
Yeah.
Finally, something good coming out of California.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So last week we had a discussion on leadership. When in charge, take charge, which I got that from General Patton. I don't know if he uses those exact words, but I remember hearing that as a young private. And then as I went up through the ranks and started reading books on different leaders and stuff like that, that was something that General Patton would say all the time. So we decided, you and I both own the same book. I don't know how yours is thicker than mine. Does it have more pictures or something?
It's better.
I don't know about that. Mine's autographed by the author.
Yeah, you're right.
Porter B. Williamson.
Although that seemed to be pretty common.
The autographs?
Yeah.
Yeah. He probably.
It's auto pen.
No, it's not. It's written in blue ink. That's a real ballpoint pen. This came from Rose's Book House in O'Fallon, Missouri.
I do have a lot of pictures in mine. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 separate sections of pictures.
Okay, I have 3 sections, I believe. You might have more pictures in mine. But this gentleman, Porter B. Williamson, was a lieutenant. I think he's from Indiana. He was a lieutenant serving in the 3rd Army before they joined the war. So this was while they were doing their training maneuvers in California. And then he was reassigned or kind of told.
Well, it wasn't the 3rd Army. 3rd Army
no,
didn't
it wasn't
exist
3rd
yet.
Army yet. It was
3rd Armored Division.
First Armored. First Army? I don't know. 3rd Armored Division.
Something like that.
Hell on Wheels.
Number 1 is Old Ironside.
Right. And then he was kind of told to go volunteer to be a pilot. They needed young officers to train to be pilots, so he left and did that. And then I think he got into politics maybe after that. After the war. But he never actually made it overseas. He was training pilots on the Black Widow, which was a night fighter. They were hunting German planes on the ground at night, and but he became like a training officer because I guess he learned how to fly. So.
And that was short-lived. The Black Widow did not last very long over in Europe.
It's a cool plane, man.
It is. They deactivated it pretty quick.
Is it just because the war was moving so
They didn't need
fast?
it.
Yeah.
The capabilities were unnecessary.
Yeah. So this book is called General Patton's Principles for Life and Leadership.
Yeah, I think the original copyright on it, I think, is 1979.
Okay.
I think. Mine is copyrighted 1988.
Yeah, mine's 88.
Okay. I had a little note.
This says 26th printing. What does that mean?
It's the 26th round. So in other words, they print off, 10,000 books. They're all sold.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
This guy has written other books, such as Arizona Real Estate Laws, Arizona Property Tax Laws, Arizona Zoning and Subdivision Laws, Strength from Weakness, The Hammerhead Mission, and The Abstainer Pill.
Yeah, see, mine's the 4th edition.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 4th edition, 26 printing is what mine says.
See, mine doesn't even say that. It just says 4th edition.
Huh.
Anyway, I had a little note in the flyleaf. Purchased at Camp Humphreys, Korea, June 19, 2nd Lieutenant Spees.
Do you know what Rose's bookhouse?
Isn't that the place over there in...
Veterans Memorial Parkway.
Yeah, it's right across from Fort Zumwalt Park in O'Fallon.
Is it still there?
It's still there.
Oh, cool.
The girls still go shopping there every now and then.
Neat.
That's a rare book to find at Rose's because it's mostly romance novels and paperbacks and stuff like that.
Well, General Patton was a romantic.
He was.
The things that... So we went through, we talked about, we're just going to note the different principles that jumped out to us, and then we'll discuss them. Right away, page 1, the first line it says, I served with General George S. Patton, Jr. No man served under General Patton. He was always serving with us. So that right there sets the tone for General Patton's style of leadership.
Mm-hmm. Always up front.
Yeah. And first one I wrote down, always do everything you ask of the men you command. And that brings up, still today, the drill sergeant creed that I said when I graduated drill sergeant school, and we would say it to all the privates when they came to basic training. One line out of that is, I will never ask a soldier to attempt any task I would not first do myself. So we would always go, I say we, but I would make sure I would run an obstacle course. I would do the bayonet course. I would, whatever I'm about to ask these privates to do, I would show them, look, this is the standard. Here's how it's done. And then tell them to execute it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how General Patton was. I think there was the story in there that they were trying to figure out how to get this whole division across the river, and there was only one small bridge, and he jumped in a tank and told that driver, basically back up about 50 yards and haul ass, and we're going to drive across the river. And he plunged in, and the tank floated a little bit till the tracks caught the other side, and then drove out. And he just proved to everybody this can be done. So they moved the whole division in one night across a bunch of rivers that way. And that's a good way to go, man. That's how you do it.
So you pulled the first thing right off the introduction.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah.
Yep. Nice.
Yep. What was your first one? Do we want to go in order?
Well, I don't know. We can
try.
Yeah. My next one's page 70.
Okay.
Anyway, so the next section was Principles of Command and Leadership, was his next section of the book. And the first one that jumped out at me was, any man who thinks he is indispensable ain't.
That's the one I wrote down next as well.
I did like one of the lines from the book. The test of your ability is whether you could be killed and nothing would be lost.
That's right. Yep. You should be training the people below you in the rank structure that if you were to disappear one day, that everything will carry on. Somebody could just slide right into your position.
And what a challenge in the civilian work world.
Oh, yeah.
How many people have certain jobs in which no one else in the company knows?
And they think that's making them indispensable.
Yes.
But they're really not. You're actually more like, you're probably going to be gone first.
We're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
We always do.
Yeah, there was a story under this one about the captain that they were all sitting out in the hot sun. They had to take like a 2-hour break in the heat of the day. And the officers one of them would go get the mail to hand out. So this one captain was picked. So he goes up to get the mail and looks at his own mail. And on the front it says, Major so-and-so. It's his name. So he found out he just got promoted to major. And at that point, he says, well, I'm a major now. It's not appropriate for me to be getting mail for anybody. And he just left it in the mail room and disappeared. And they said they saw him in the dining facility later, like, dude, what the heck? Where's our mail? And he told them, I'm a major now, so I don't get mail for you people. And they all just kind of laughed at him and looked at him, gave him ugly looks. And apparently that guy was gotten rid of. Like, they were like, oh, okay, you're not right for this.
I did have one offhanded one right behind it. I didn't put it on my list, but it is one that kind of stood out to me some because it does matter in the civilian workforce a lot. The mission is all important. Think about standard rules later.
Yep, that's the next one I have on here.
Is it? Okay. The very last line of that section, battles are won by determined soldiers who did not spend a split second trying to remember what Army regulations had to say about what to do when the bullets start flying.
Yep. Yeah, right before that, tell the American soldier what is to be done, and he will do it.
Yep.
It doesn't say in there, tell the American soldier how to do the task. It just says, here's our objective, go.
Right.
And that's what drove the Germans crazy, because they couldn't figure out, like, hey, we killed their officer, but they're still coming, and they know, like, they're just adjusting, and they were like, they would find our field manuals and like how an infantry attack is supposed to happen. They're like, they're not following this at all. This is chaos.
That was actually one of the things that freaked out the Germans a lot, is the Americans were very adaptable.
Yeah.
They had a tactic come against them that we learned the hard way, and we would never repeat, or we would always be prepared to react to the same thing in the future.
Yep.
And the Germans couldn't comprehend the fact that every time they would try to repeat a success, the second time around never was successful.
Work. Yeah.
And that happens even here, on the job. I see that a lot over the years. There's one thing to be said. You need to know the standards. You need to learn how. This is how you do it. But when the bullets start flying, like they say in the book, or something happens, in the transportation world, a truck breaks down, and that truck was sitting right on the middle of a scale, and you got a line of trucks behind them. It's not how you react or how you are supposed to do it. Is what are you going to do to get that truck off that scale?
Do it, yeah. Yep. Same in the fire service. We had a saying in the fire service, and it's kind of sad, but we'll say, the fire service will make a change while they're standing next to your grave. Because there's always that this is how we've always done it mentality.
Oh, I hate that.
And it's like, it's very frustrating, but it's getting more and more rare. So I could tell my guys, you're going to VES this side of the building. That's vent enter search. They know exactly what that means. They know, and, I'm not telling them what tool to use to break the glass on the window to get through. They select the proper tool that they need. If the tool doesn't work, they'll get a new tool. Like, I'm not telling them get in the ladder. I'm not saying anything. VES that window right there. Boom. And I can, as a commander, incident commander, I can move on to my next task. Because I know those guys will figure it out. I've empowered them to figure it out. And they know I'm not going to micromanage them, so they better figure it out.
Let them surprise you with their ingenuity.
Yeah. I have every leader must have authority to match his responsibility.
What section's that in?
Mine's not broken down by sections, and our page numbers don't match up.
Oh, okay.
So that one is
okay.
Right after select leaders for accomplished. Yeah.
You're still in principles of command and leadership.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's an important one. I think we've talked about this before. We talked about it last week, where when in charge, take charge. Like, if I give somebody the task, they have to have a certain amount of authority to go along with that. And that's it speaks for itself. There's a lot of people who are given responsibility in companies, but they're not given the proper authority to fully accomplish their task.
Yeah, how often have we seen in our work histories, in our past lives, where some group is in charge of doing something, but they're afraid to make their own decisions. They're constantly looking over their shoulders because they know if they decide to make a decision, they're going to get yelled at.
Yeah, they feel like no matter what I decide to do,
right,
somebody's going to call me and tell me to change and do it differently.
Yep.
Yeah, and that doesn't work well. That actually will drive people out of a company, good people.
And that's knowing the standard.
Right.
You know, taking the time to really reinforce and get to know the standard.
Yeah.
And then you can be flexible on the rest of it, but always knowing the standard. I think that's something I've seen in the past where leaders are not doing well at training or teaching their subordinates on what the real standard is supposed to be, and then upholding that standard.
Well, do those leaders even know the standard themselves?
Right.
You know, like they don't even take the time to learn the proper procedures and processes that are already there.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people try to rewrite like procedures, and they're like, "Bro, it's already done. Like, just look at it. This has been tested.
Right.
Like, what? You're wasting your time."
Yep. And I live in that world in my current job, where everything I do is compliance, policy, procedure, work instructions.
Yeah.
And it is can be frustrating at times where people want to create something new and write a whole new document, and you're going, well, wait a minute, I have it over here.
Yeah.
Why don't we just tweak the one that we have and improve on it?
Yeah.
Just remember where to go to look for it. It's already there.
Yeah. I like to do things by committee to a certain point, like especially when it comes to a change in a process or something like that, because that generates buy-in from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So you get everybody in a room, they give you their ideas, we all agree this is how we're going to do it, and I say, okay, I agree. This conforms to OSHA compliance, like it's all compliant with all the regulations and everything. This is how we're going to do it, and we write it up, put it in place. Then they fail to follow that, and then it gives you a really big stick to use. Like, you were the one who came up with this idea, and you're violating it. But it's very rare that you have to do that once everybody has buy-in.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you could do everything by committee.
No.
Because then you get like a mob rule situation.
Or you just get indecisive.
Yeah, for real. You'd be sitting in a dang conference room for 5 hours.
Paralysis by analysis.
Stupid. Yeah. I have protect the troops first next. What do you have?
I'm not in that section.
Not there yet? Okay.
No. You keep going.
Protect the troops first. The wishes of superior officers are secondary. Now, this is where Patton would get in trouble quite a bit. But there's a quote in there. General Patton never placed his military career above his concern for the troops. So, people used to think that Patton did not care about his soldiers, that he was, old blood and guts. He was just going to use as many soldiers as possible to get the job done. Who cares how many die? But really what he was doing was using aggression and violence and speed of action to actually save lives. His aggressiveness actually saved American lives.
Yeah, because you didn't give the Germans time to reorganize.
Yeah. There was only 2 or 3 times where Patton had to take up what he called aggressive defense. And it was because he outran his supply lines, like they couldn't keep up with the gas, or they literally like handcuffed him and to let Montgomery get some glory or something like that.
Or to catch up. Because remember, Eisenhower's broad plan was for the whole front to move together across Europe versus having this lightning bolt shoot through there, which Patton could have done.
Oh, yeah, he could have.
He could have raced straight into Germany.
Yeah.
Early.
And he always talked about in the California training, like, we're fine with being cut off because we can shoot in every direction. If we're surrounded, we'll just shoot everybody, and we won't be shooting at ourselves. And he's like, we're going to move fast and get around behind them. If we need food, we'll take their food. If we need gas, we'll take their gas. We're going to wreak havoc. Next, I have never fear failure.
All right, so you are now in the principles of pride and confidence.
Okay.
Never fear failure.
And the quote from the book is, "A good commander faces the cold hard truth of failure with every decision. He must make decisions without any fear of failure. General Patton charged, any officer who is afraid of failure will never win. Any man who is afraid to die will never really live." That's a great quote. That kind of says it all. As soon as you make a decision, you're basically saying this could, succeed or fail. You're looking at it in the face right there. And you've made your decision, you need to act and go. Again, leading firefighters on dangerous rescue operations or whatever, you make a decision to send your guys in. You need to do a really good scene size up, and you have to know exactly what's going on. I don't know if that's in here. No decision was ever made in a swivel chair. Coming a little bit later, but it says a decision without all the facts is no decision at all. When I got on the scene, I would do a 360 around the house. I'm looking at the front side, the back, the left. I want to see everything and put my own eyes on it. I'm not going to send somebody else to do that because I'm the one who has to make the decision. I need all the facts. I need to know where the fire is, what floor, our angle of attack, all that kind of stuff. So you have to get all the information for yourself. And we call that in the Army, that's called a leader's recon. You do a security halt before the objective, and the leaders, you'll take like the platoon commander and then, RTO, machine gunner, whatever. They'll go up, do a leader's recon. They're going to actually put their eyes on the objective and see it. Then they come back and brief everybody on what they saw. It's very, very important.
What is most fulfilling to you? You being able to plan and make a decision that's executed well, or something chaotic is going on and you're still making a decision on the fly?
Well, planning and executing well is a great feeling. When you see, it's basically you're seeing the fruits of your labor. The battle's won in the planning and all that, really. And, again, with my firefighters, we trained. And there was no structure fires. But we kept training for the big structure fire, right? And one day it came. And everything worked out perfectly, just exactly how we trained. And my job was fairly easy as the incident commander because I could just tell somebody to do something I knew it was going to be done. And it allowed me to focus on things that could get chaotic, right? Try to foresee those things. But man, when the fire's out, everybody's safe. It's like you just stand back like, dang, that's a good feeling.
And I'm the opposite.
But again, I like the cast, like in grappling, like when I'm doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or something like that, and you're in there and rolling around and you're reacting to what they're doing, and I'm, like chess, like high-speed chess. That's awesome too.
See, the whole planning and execution, yeah. I like that when a plan succeeds.
Yeah, I love
but it's also boring.
It is boring.
Whereas I thrive in chaotic decision making.
Yeah.
That's where I seem to really jump out. 1,600 things are happening at once. You got this going on, that going on, this breakdown, this person's back there puking, whatever. And I just jump in there and go, okay, stop doing this, move there, get over there, take care of that. I feel so much better at the end of the day in that kind of execution than the other.
Well, I'll tell you, like being a firefighter and you have the nozzle in your hand and you're searching for the fire and you're like, it's like riding a bull. Like it's hellacious, fire over your head, smoke down to the floor. You don't know where anybody else is. And like, it's the most intense thing I've ever done in my life. And, you have to react to what's going on because fire is like a living thing. And, that's awesome too. That's really fun. Unfortunately, for people whose house is burning, it's tough to say that, but it's one of the most fun things I've ever done in my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's like being in a fist fight, you know, like a boxing match, whatever. You're like terrified, but having the time of your life at the same time. It's really weird. Like a man is the only war machine. And that kind of reminded me about, like, you remember when the Army came out with that, what did they call it? Like Force 21 or whatever, when the Blue Force Tracker came out, and then they had like all this computer crap they were trying to get the soldiers to wear. And do you remember that thing?
Yeah.
It had like the big sight on your rifle, but it was like fed back to the TOC and all that kind of crap. And I mean, dude, you can have all those fancy stuff you want, but it's all about the guy who's carrying it, operating it, and executing the mission.
Oh, yeah.
And look at Ukraine, Russia, man. That's just bogged down to just trench warfare with drones. It's crazy.
That war is, hopefully all of our doctrine guys in the military have been really paying attention and focusing on that, because that war is going to be the future of war.
I mean, our generals are commanding and controlling that war
And
from Germany.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
but they're studying for sure.
We haven't even changed anything with our own military force whatsoever.
Well, I know that combat engineers are training with drones with explosives on them now. They do have like anti-drone, first-person drone.
We're still living with the M1 Abrams as if it's the old World War II battleship.
Yeah.
Pearl Harbor hasn't hit yet on the
I did
tanks.
See Chevy is getting involved in creating new, not creating new, but it's basically like the Chevy Colorado chassis, but it's a military version of it, just like the Jeep was. Mm-hmm. So they could mass produce it in Chevrolet factories if they need to. So it's like, okay, that's good. That's good stuff going there. Instead of those big hulking beasts that, you know, cost $5 million.
We really need to be simplifying production is what we need to be
these
doing.
things don't have any doors on them. Like, they're just straight up, like, bare bones, move a squad.
Because with the drone armies coming, I mean, you don't need a lot of money to cause a lot of damage and have so many of them.
Yeah.
So you got to be doing the same thing or better. Yep. And there was a brief story yesterday, in which they're now evaluating the threat of drone attacks becoming closer and closer to, you know, the 48 states right here.
Yeah.
It's nothing for a drone to get here.
No, you can operate them off a ship from a ship right off the coast.
You may not even know where it came from.
Yeah.
So.
I have no one is thinking if everyone is thinking alike. This is a big problem in the business world where people get a bunch of yes men around them. Mm-hmm. And people, you know, I'm only going to hire people who think like me. And that's not good. That's a good way to...
I had one right before that.
Okay, what you got?
In the long run, it is what we do not say that will destroy us. The yes man attitude, or not being able to speak up. You got to be willing to speak up and at least ask a question. And if whoever's your leader is saying, nope, this is how we're going to do it, then you get it, but at least you put it out there and get them to figure it out.
Yeah.
There was listed here in the book, this 4-way test was as follows: of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And that was part of a service club.
Yeah, you know, Patton was a big fan of the question, why? If somebody spoke up in a briefing like, we shouldn't be doing this, why? Well, we don't know what the weather's going to be like. Well, why not? Did you talk to the weather people? Have you talked to the weather section yet? No. Why not? So he was a big fan of that. He would make people basically crumble in front of him by the why question. If you disagreed with something and you didn't have a good reason behind it, you were probably not going to stick around long in Patton's staff. But if you disagreed and you could list the reasons why, and they were valid, then he would probably listen to you.
Yeah, there's a great little section here. I'm going to go ahead and read it.
All right.
So I'm quoting from the book. A colonel, trying to be helpful, and suggested that there was merit in the old motto, speak no evil, see no evil, and hear no evil. General Patton went into one of his impromptu briefings. Yes, Colonel, but that no evil business is for monkeys who hide their eyes, ears, and mouth to the truth. God is truth, and don't ever forget it. Evil must be attacked whenever it appears. You hear your kind of garbage every day, but let me tell you something. It is foolish to say that you should never get into a professional contest with a skunk. I will tell you that if you do not kill the first skunk that shows up, that skunk will get under the house, and you'll have to burn the house down to get rid of the skunks. And then they kind of laugh about it, but then he changes topic real quick and says, look at Pearl Harbor. No one wanted to go into war. We said so. Any fool could see it coming. We invited the attack. We let the skunks get under our front porch, and so we burned at Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, and it talks about that in the book, about how our intelligence people knew that the Japanese had a task force. And actually the Japanese that were in Washington, D.C. negotiating for peace, allegedly, were saying, we can't negotiate to peace while you have all these guns pointed towards the Pacific and all these ships out patrolling. And they basically got the Americans to unload their guns and go on a long weekend while these negotiations were on. Meanwhile, Patton in California was preparing for a invasion in what is the bay, Baja Peninsula, basically. He thought the Japanese Navy could come right up here and they'll be in Los Angeles in a few hours. And that's where most of our planes are made, outside of L.A. And we got to be prepared. So they slept in their uniforms for like 3 days and didn't have used bedrolls or anything. They were ready to move within a minute, they said. If they had to, they were going to react and go down to the Baja Peninsula to meet the Japanese there. Meanwhile, they didn't have any ammunition for their tanks. Right. All they had was small arms. And Patton literally said, he said, we'll throw sand in their eyes. We're going.
I do like another one, talk with the troops.
Yeah.
Man, how is it? I mean, you can't run a business or be in charge of people if you are not taking the time to talk to the people you're in charge of.
Yeah. You should probably be doing more listening than talking.
Get their perspective. Find out what is what's holding up progress, what are their speed bumps, roadblocks to success.
How do you think we should be doing this?
Yeah.
Do you think we could do this better? What are some ideas you have?
Is this efficient?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because those people are the subject matter experts. Yep. And they'll be able to tell you, like, yeah, this is ridiculous the way we,
Ground up, not top down.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. Like, you ask a young private something, and they're going to tell you the straight truth. That's why Hackworth loved draftees. He loved the draftees because they're not worried about their careers. They're there to do their time and get out. They're going to tell you the exact truth of what's going on, and they're not going to mince words. And he loved that. Along with the no good decision was ever made in a swivel chair. Walk. I wrote down notes on myself. Walk while thinking. So he used to say, you got to be moving to get the juices to the right places, and breathe deep so your brain has enough oxygen, stuff like that. And so I was thinking, like, oh, well, I do this. Whenever I have like some big decisions and things I'm thinking about, instead of just sitting in my office or sitting on the couch, I walk a lot. I'll just get up and walk, and I'll just keep walking and thinking and walking and thinking, and I might not come to a conclusion in the time I'm out walking, but it gets my blood pumping, and I feel like I'm in motion and making progress while I'm thinking. I don't get distracted either.
I have caught myself, and one person pointed it out to me one time, getting asked a question that requires me to consider myself before the answer. And I was caught just rather than just having eye-to-eye contact like you and I are right now,
Yeah.
suddenly I would look up at the ceiling. And I didn't realize I do it out of habit. I'm not paying attention to it, but it's like I'm disengaging myself to a blank canvas,
Yeah.
which is the ceiling, as I'm trying to figure out how to map out this answer.
So it's kind of, you're visualizing the results of
Yeah.
answer A or answer B.
Right. And then I realized there's a miniseries out on Netflix called The Queen's Gambit
Oh, yeah.
about the chess player.
Yeah, it's a great one.
And she does the same thing. She looks up at the ceiling to figure out all her chess moves.
Yeah, in the movie or series, I guess, it shows pieces moving to, so she's anticipating somebody else's reaction to her move.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that I see that in a miniseries, and that's exactly how I think when I have to contemplate something. I'm staring at the ceiling.
Yeah, I get a really angry face on, apparently, and it's just my thinking face, but I look like I'm about to punch somebody, which is kind of my normal face.
You do have a natural frowny face.
Caitlin sent me a picture of Emma at the playground today, and Emma said, "This is Daddy's face," and she made like the frown, angry face. I was like, "No, I'm just thinking."
So in the next section, principles for success, I pulled out. Is that right? Yeah. Never fight a battle when nothing will be gained by winning.
That's my next one as well.
So true.
Yeah, I wrote down, my note was fight on your own terms or not at all. And that's kind of how the Viet Cong beat the United States in Vietnam. If they couldn't win the fight, they're not fighting it.
Yeah, and we say it. People say it all the time. Well, you got to pick your battles.
Yeah. But that goes further. Never fight a battle when nothing can be gained by winning. So,
right,
I'm gonna win this argument. What did I actually gain? You probably actually lost that person's respect or their trust or whatever. So, in the heat of the moment, it's hard to keep that in mind. It's kind of something you really have to practice, right, and make it muscle memory almost. That's a good one. Success is how you bounce at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
I wrote up, I took a bunch of quotes from the book on this. It says, every wife wants her husband to be a commander, although she will not give a command in his own house. I think that was supposed to say let him. So every wife wants her husband to be a commander, although she will not let him give a command in his own house. I just thought that was funny. Put that on there.
The household six.
Yeah. That made me think of like the family readiness group ladies who are like, they basically, my husband's the colonel, so I'm a colonel.
Oh, yeah.
I'm the colonel of all of the women. You probably had to deal with that a lot more in the officer side than I did.
Yeah.
Actually, we never came. I don't know if I met my platoon sergeant's wife one time because we were working staff duty on Christmas, and she brought up some food for us. That was the only time I ever met anybody's wife. So this is talking about like success has highs and lows. But as soon as you get to the peak of success, you're gonna be on your way back down. You need to be prepared about it. And how you react when you get to the bottom really is what makes the man, right? Mm-hmm. We talked about it in Musashi's Book of Five Rings. Get knocked down 9 times, stand up 10, whatever it is, something like that. Mike Tyson used to say that.
Sure, it's kind of a biblical principle as well.
Sure,
having your desert experience.
Yeah. And you can see your true character about how you react to the lowest times in your life. Another quote I took out of that section was from Patton. Looks like the nature of nations never changes any more than human nature. Give people a nation with lots of freedom, and the people will try to get some dictator to tell them what to do. When people have a dictator, they want freedom. Helps me understand Thomas Jefferson's remark that the tree of liberty has to be fertilized every few years with the blood of patriots. Trouble is, we have so few true patriots. So many give lip service about being a patriot, but when the shooting starts, they want to stay home. Man, is that true today?
Mm-hmm. Big time.
You know, Patton had no love for Congress at all. And he would talk about congressmen and Congress and how ever since the Continental Congress screwed over Benedict Arnold back in the day, and they're the ones that forced Benedict Arnold to do what he did because he was winning the wars. He was winning the battles, and Gates was taking the credit for it and holding him back.
Right. They weren't recognizing. Yeah.
And Benedict Arnold should have been the commander-in-chief of the Southern Army. And they like he spent all of his money, his own personal money, and they promised him land and to pay back the debts, and they never did. And that was the Congress. And Gates was appointed to his positions by the Continental Congress. Benedict Arnold fought his way to the top. And he was a true leader. He was a bad SOB.
He was, but he was very narcissistic.
For sure. No, that usually comes with those type of people, though. You know? Usually. But yeah, he thought that he was owed something where, you know, other leaders would just serve, and service is enough.
Mm-hmm. But overall, this is a pretty good book. It's not a well-known book, even though you said 26 printings on yours that you had or have. It's not one you're going to find all over the place. No. Not many people ever reference it. On the back, it gives a pretty good summary on some of the topics that are in the book. It's about Patton's views on command and management, health, pride and confidence, decision-making, victory and success, life and death. So there's a lot of wartime discussion, things like that, battle, tactics, troops, things like that. But it is a good leadership book. You're going to get a lot of good information pulled out of this book.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that the United States Army is probably the most successful organization ever in the history of the United States, probably the history of the world. As far as successes and learning from failures and mistakes and
professional development,
coming back better, professional development, all that stuff, hiring. I mean, gosh dang, we're an all volunteer army right now, you know, and we've been at war since 2001, basically till today, and they're beating recruiting records, like how to recruit people, how to hire, you know, discipline, all that stuff.
But the Army, I remember going through boot camp in 1988. One of the classes I had was how to write a check.
Oh, yeah, we had direct deposit. I think I told this before. Like they said, you need to fill out this. This is for direct deposit. I was like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, but they took the time to train you on just about all aspects of your life.
Yeah.
They taught you how to polish a boot. They taught you how to sew up something that was a tear.
Personal hygiene.
Yes.
Like how important, like how to take care of your feet, take care of your teeth.
Right.
Clean your ears out, you know, that kind of stuff.
Or the best, and as a platoon leader when I was a lieutenant, it was also the worst, was the dental records. Keeping up with everybody's dental records. You got hammered so bad as a lieutenant if you had a soldier that wasn't
like
current
missed their appointment
on their dental. Because when it comes to, you know, when I was in the 18th Airborne Corps, we were on an 18-hour deployment schedule.
Yeah.
You had to have everything locked in.
Yeah.
And if somebody went through that and they were, you know, didn't have their correct level on dental, man, you got ripped.
Yeah, you're not deployable if you have an abscess tooth or you have a cavity that needs to be drilled or wisdom teeth to be pulled. You're not deployable, man.
Nope.
Yeah, that's true. Wow. And a lot of guys probably never went to the dentist before they joined the Army. They got a lot of work to get done.
Quite a few.
We had one private in basic training that refused to shower. He was afraid to shower because we had, communal showers.
Oh, we had that one too.
And we took care of him, though.
Yeah, we did too.
We trained him up properly.
It's amazing what 15 or 20 toilet brushes will do to the human skin with soap.
Don't give away all our secrets, Kevin. It was good training. That's all we'll say.
Yep. I think I heard him laugh because it tickled.
Yeah. That's another thing. Like ironing or
Yes.
cleaning toilets, cleaning like
How do you start?
like polish a floor, like how to buff, like clean, mop a floor, buff, you clean. That stuff stuck with me, like I'm, forever. I still enjoy ironing my own clothes and
Constantly going to a class, always into a school.
yeah. I think when we were on a training cycle, because in the 25th Infantry Division, we had like the rapid deployment cycle for the Pacific. I don't know what they call it, pack, whatever, use pack or whatever. We were on like the rapid deployment cycle, but then we would rotate off and go into like a leave cycle, and then we would do the train up rotation and all that. But we even like our whole platoon went to a college class. Like our platoon sergeant was like, it's free college. We're all going, and we're all going to sign up for this criminal justice class or whatever. And we had to go to college classes.
That's one of the things I tell my son now. Never, ever, ever. If they want to offer you, someone comes to you and says, Sergeant Spees, I have this class or this training opportunity. I have 2 slots available. Do you want one of the slots? Always say yes.
Oh, yeah.
Take it.
Definitely. Yeah.
Number 1, they respect you enough that they came to you and said, you're the man.
Mm-hmm.
So don't turn them down. And number 2, it's going to just make you that much smarter and better.
Yeah. Also, if you turn them down, they might not come back and ask you for the next one, the one you actually want to go to.
Yeah, you don't want to get farmed out.
There was a thing like in the Army, they would say like, don't ever volunteer for anything. It's like, bull crap, man. I volunteer for everything. I don't care what it is.
Yeah. The thing about leadership, there are 2 things to it. Number 1, there is a natural ability for leaders. Not everyone's a leader.
Sure.
Everyone can be trained, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But even though everyone can be trained, there's still going to be one person that is trained. Yeah, I know it, but they
don't want it.
Right. And leadership in general, you will never stop learning leadership. There's always, this book and his 40 or so things in here, statements. You can find them on the internet all day long. 10 rules for being a good leader. 18 rules for being an effective leader. The 10 leadership lessons,
Yeah.
All day long. And lots of times they all overlap, and it's not reinventing the wheel. Sometimes you might see something that you don't know, but it is so good to always remember and refresh your brain and go, oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, man, I'm glad I read that because I've been doing it this way, and that's been a mistake. Now I understand why this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to pay attention to that.
And there's so many different styles of leadership as well, that you'll gravitate towards one over the other, but that doesn't mean you can't learn from some other style.
Mm-hmm.
You want to kind of be like a pirate, like take from everybody, take it and make it your own. Yeah.
And that's where the German army early, leading up to World War I and into World War II.
Yeah.
I don't know that it stayed that way, but you had 2 classes of leaders.
Mm-hmm.
One was the tactical leader,
mm-hmm.
and then one was the staff officer.
Right.
You had the tactical officer and the staff officer. And the staff officer, his entire profession was never to lead troops. It was training and doctrine, planning, putting all that stuff together. So the tactical guy who's in charge of the troops can execute. And they worked in tandem together.
Yeah.
And it was, in many ways, in the early German army, it was the staff officer really garnered more respect than the tactical guy. You can throw a tactical guy in there all day long,
mm-hmm.
but it's the staff officer who had to really know his duties.
Yeah, Patton drew that distinction as well between a tactical leader and a staff officer, and he could suss them out pretty quick. Like, okay, this guy. Same thing with Hackworth. He like studs and duds, man. I want studs, but he considered guys who were really good at the staff stuff, like coordinating helicopters and getting fuel and chow. They're studs, man. They're great at what they do. But if you throw them out in the jungle, they might not be all that great. But you can take one of those knuckle draggers out of the jungle and have them coordinate helicopters. They'd go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'd ruin everything. This is something that I struggled with as an NCO, because we're asked as NCOs, you know, it's tactical, tactical, tactical. Then when we reach a certain rank, it's like, oh, yeah, you're going to be our training NCO. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about this crap. What? I want to go shoot guns and blow stuff up. I'm not going to sit here in headquarters. When I was made the first sergeant's driver, I went insane. I was like, no way in hell am I going to be somebody's chauffeur, drive around in a Humvee. I hated it. I hated every single minute. I tried to get fired.
Yep. I do not remember the general's name anymore. I mean, it's been so long since I've been in the Army. But there was a general that talked to all of us officers one day, and he was just talking about leadership. And he said, what's the typical profile of an Army officer? You do a year as a platoon leader. You do 2 years as a company commander, or a year or two as a company commander. You're going to do a year or two as a battalion commander. You're going to do a year or two as a group commander or brigade. And he said, and then it's staff in between, the well-rounded officer. He said, wrong. He said, if you're a platoon leader and you have another platoon leader position open, go get it.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a company commander and there's another company command option available and they're willing to give it to you, take it. He said, stay in the leadership as long as you can. Do the staff when you have to. But stay in the leadership as long as you can.
Yeah, because it's gone quick.
Yeah.
It's quicker for officers than NCOs, but, you know, once
policy, tactics, things change constantly.
Yeah. Once you get past E7, you're not pushing troops. I mean, you might get a first sergeant role, but really you're not a tactical leader at that time. You're beans and bullets, man. You're logistics. You're just making, you know, counting casualties and taking care of troops like you're their mom, basically.
So that's the thing. I mean, I'm in charge of people now. I'm a leader in the company I work for. And there are times where I've thought, man, if I can just find a job where I'm just in charge of tires.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can argue with tires. They don't argue with me. I can kick them if I don't like them.
They don't call in sick.
Right. But the reality is, for me, my brain, my psyche, I would just fall apart.
Yeah.
I have to be with people. I mean, that's just who I am.
Yeah. So my role, I'm not in charge of one single person, but I have influence over every single person in the company. And I look at that as a great opportunity to lead. It's great. And I literally talk to every single person in the company every day. I make sure I get out there and talk to everybody. They see my face. I try not to look angry when they see me. It's exhausting. When I come home, I'm like, oh, I had to pretend I was nice all day. But it's cool. Like, I go out and I have a lot of influence over a lot of different departments, and I have the freedom to do that because I don't have anybody directly reporting to me. And it's awesome. I thought when I first, you know, because I've had leadership roles since I was like 21 years old or something like that, you know. I thought, oh, this is going to be so boring. And now everybody asks me, how do you like your job? I said, it's nice and boring. I love it. You know, I don't have to worry about a crackhead stabbing me or you know, running into a burning building or blowing myself up. And, you know, like, it's really cool. I like it. But having influence over people in a good way it's pretty rewarding.
Yeah. And I don't want anybody to confuse you being an influencer as in a YouTube or TikTok influencer.
No, I don't even have a social media.
You're more like an advisor.
Advisor, yeah. I'm I'm like
you're like the MacV,
like the Green Berets in Vietnam. I'm just
right.
I'm just here to advise,
right.
But I can blow some shit up if I need to. But
exactly.
And I have sometimes like put the hammer down, you know, and I have that authority to go along with my responsibilities.
Yeah, you're like a warrant officer equivalent in your job now.
It's awesome. It's great. It's the best. I can ride my bike to work and do what I want.
Right.
Oh man. What about what are some like as an officer when you have a turd in the punch bowl, like one of your fellow platoon leaders is just a jackass. How do officers handle that?
Well, I mean, the way I've handled it, I got to think about this a second.
Because it has to be different than the way NCOs handle it.
So you do have the difference. It's kind of funny. Lieutenant's a lieutenant, second lieutenant, first lieutenant. You're still just a lieutenant.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a little politicking going on based on experience.
Uh-huh.
And you get, the classic butter bar mentality, and they want to act like they're in charge of everything.
Sure.
And
especially if they're from West Point.
Oh, yeah. Argue at the stop sign if they can.
Yeah.
The things I've done with those kinds of lieutenants has been more or less letting them to string themselves out there.
Okay.
Because they're not listening. That's what I found out more than anything.
Yeah.
The lieutenants that work really well and will end up doing pretty good are the ones that are involved. They're willing to toe the line a little bit. They're spending time with their platoon sergeant. I spent a lot of time with my platoon sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
Met with my first sergeant whenever I could. As a platoon leader, not really spending a lot of time with the company commander.
Yeah.
You're with your troops.
Yeah.
So, but then the better lieutenants I found out were the ones that, they spent a lot of time with their troops, but all their troops understand that they're still the boss.
Yeah. Yeah, you can mingle, but not fraternize.
Yeah, and there's a fine line there.
Sure.
Actually, I mean, I've had several incidents like that. I remember my driver, I think I might have mentioned it when we first started this show. My driver, Specialist Ayala, she was great driver for me, but she was very timid. And whenever we were out in the field, she was afraid to do certain things. I had to constantly encourage her with the Hummer.
Is this the one that had the lipstick that matched her beret?
Yes. So you do. I did talk about this. And the company commander and the first sergeant told me I had to address that. And her response was accurate. I couldn't fight that argument because she answered the way the reg said.
It's in regulation, yeah.
And when I told the company commander and the first sergeant, they were like dumbfounded.
Yeah.
But they're like, okay, she's right. But, don't be afraid to do those things. You have to be able to articulate certain things and kind of laugh it off at the same time.
Sure.
But they need to know that you're serious.
Yeah, and you're standing up for your soldiers.
Yes.
And that's very important.
No, I've had that happen.
Yeah.
I personally have been ejected off a rifle range by a lower ranking range officer for being insubordinate to that range officer.
Nice.
Because they weren't following procedures correctly, and I tried to correct them.
Yeah.
And you can't be quiet about it because you're out on the range.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And so you can't have unsafe acts.
Sure.
Right? You can't have unsafe acts happen. And I was at the base of the tower, and I was one of the shooters.
Mm-hmm.
And she's sounding off, and I kind of like yelling, but I yelled up to the tower so she could hear me. That's not, you can't do that. You got to call that off. We haven't even cleared our rifles yet. All this other stuff. And she starts yelling at me down.
Yeah.
And I started yelling back, and it became a thing to where I actually took my Kevlar and ripped it off my head and threw it on the ground. And then I got ejected off the rifle range for not having my Kevlar on.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, I was approached about the whole situation. And I did not get like the verbal reprimand from my commander.
Mm-hmm.
I got more of a thank you. She got the verbal reprimand,
Mm-hmm.
and that also my troops, because it was like a 96-degree day in North Carolina.
Yeah.
My troops after that moment looked at me completely different. Like they started respecting me more as a young lieutenant.
Yeah, that's always a tricky situation to be an NCO in charge of a range, and you have, your company commander is on the range, but you have the authority as the range safety officer.
Yes.
Like you could shut the range down if you see an unsafe act. You're actually obligated to, and you could say, "Hey, sir, where are you going? You're going the wrong way." But you're on a megaphone, like this loudspeaker that the whole entire range could.
Well, and that was the problem.
It's like you have to be diplomatic but firm at the same time, because there's live ammunition. Like people are walking around with loaded weapons, and it's hot. You probably got there first thing in the morning, like an hour before the sun came up, and blah blah blah. But as a range safety officer, you need to make it very clear: I'm the one in charge here, and these are the rules of the range that we're going to follow. And the way that officers and NCOs interact with each other in front of lower enlisted guys, needs to be very professional.
Yes. Oh yeah.
You should take things to the side, a little sidebar conversation, and talk it out.
Mm-hmm.
And
always, I never disrespected my platoon sergeant.
You could say,
way.
"Sir," and it's a 4-letter word, as an NCO. But you got to be careful, because the rules are the rules. The rank structure is that way for a reason.
Mm.
But also, as a lieutenant, you better be careful how you talk to the senior enlisted guy.
But it was also the true statement. I don't even know if the Army's like this anymore, but it was a true statement that when you're in garrison, the platoon sergeant's in charge.
Oh, yeah. Lieutenant stands in the back of the formation.
Yeah, unless the commander's up there,
right.
Then they switch. Right? Mm-hmm. And that's just how it is. And then when you're in the field, you're the one in charge.
Yeah.
Just transition.
Yeah, it's weird, but it works very well.
It did. I don't know if they still do it that way, but
they do. Yeah, I'm sure they do. They would never change that.
They got rid of a lot of good things.
We're the Department of War now, man. We're back. We're back, baby.
We'll see.
Yeah, those relationships. I didn't have as an engineer. We didn't have a lot of interaction with our officers because we would get farmed out as a squad. Like our squad would go get attached to an infantry company, and their lieutenant would be leading theirs. But they kind of looked at us like we were specialize in these certain tasks that they needed us to do, and so we were kind of like fancy free. Like it was a cool feeling. We felt really cool. Yeah. Our lieutenant would be back in the TOC, coordinating with the infantry battalion. We have a company supports a battalion. Company of engineers supports a battalion of infantry, and so they would be like, "Hey, sir, we can do this mission. Here's what we can offer you. Here's what we do for you," and that kind of stuff. So we didn't really have a lot of interactions with our lieutenants.
Yeah, but you know what? It's been 22 years since I got out of the Army.
Oh, okay.
It's a long time.
Yeah, I think I just hit 15 years. It is a long time. Yeah. We didn't even have cell phones. Like cell phones were just becoming a new thing. And
I had a pager. And it would just beep 911.
Yeah. So I'm sure it's a whole different dynamic now. Like my platoon, I was in 3rd platoon, my first unit. 3rd platoon stayed on the 3rd floor of the barracks. 2nd platoon was on the 2nd, 1st platoon on the 1st. And then headquarters platoon was on the other side of the building. And so we all lived together. But now they stay in like these barracks. They call them barracks, but they're like apartment complexes.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't like it, man. I don't like it at all.
Mm-mm.
I think you should be living together. Especially if you're combat arms. I think you should be living in close quarters with each other all the time. So it's all different now. I don't even know. I wish I liked our uniforms, but then we switched to the ACUs. Those sucked. I wish they would have stuck with the BDUs or went straight to the, what do they call that?
I was out right before they went to the ACUs.
Yeah, you're lucky, man.
Yep.
I was a drill sergeant when we switched over, so I had the BDUs with my sewn-on badges, and then we went to the ACUs, and it was pin-on badges, and they didn't have the subdued airborne wings or drill sergeant badge, so we had to like paint them black, and so every time you had to like constantly paint your badges, and then it just looked like a glob of black after a while, and then you'd have to strip all the paint off and repaint it.
We're just not wearing the badges.
Well, yeah, then we get like we're drill sergeant. We have to wear a drill sergeant badge, and but all of us stopped wearing our airborne wings and stuff. We stopped wearing them, and then it was a pain in the ass, man. And the uniforms were terrible. Didn't keep you camouflaged from anything. They faded super fast. Had Velcro everywhere. That was loud as hell. If you're out in the woods, you're like pulling Velcro open. It's the dumbest thing ever.
The enemy. I just found the Americans.
Yeah. And we glow in the dark, basically. As you're walking through the woods, your uniform's glowing in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Is the dumbest thing ever in the history of the Army. And there's a lot of dumb things that have happened in the Army.
Was that a General Shinseki thing?
Shinseki came.
He did the beret.
He did the black berets.
Yeah, he did the beret.
The ACUs came about after the Iraq War started. They had already picked out the uniforms that the Army is currently wearing. The Army had decided this is a better camouflage than the BDUs, and we're going to go to this eventually. But we're going to do the ACUs first because apparently, I don't know, some general probably retired, got a job at that company, and his buddy gave him the contract.
Or it was already budgeted and projected.
Yeah. Stupid, man.
I mean, that stuff happens.
That's the dumbest thing ever, and I'm still mad about it.
So this week was the anniversary of the last B-52 bomber to roll off the assembly line.
Oh, wow.
1962.
Yeah, and we just had a B-52 crash a couple of weeks ago. After getting like some kind of upgrade, apparently. Like there were some engineers from Boeing on it.
In the middle of upgrades.
Yeah, there was like a test flight, and did you ever see the pictures of that? The aftermath?
I did.
Like it must have been full of fuel because there was nothing left but ash on there was like you couldn't tell that was an airplane. It was just all burnt.
Mm-hmm.
Terrible thing. That was out in California. But there's not many B-52s out there. If you listen to our other episode with our...
there are now 75.
75? So there were 76?
Yes.
Yeah. And they're not making any new ones, right?
No, the last one was 1962.
Yeah. Wow. That's incredible. We got to get him back on the show to talk some more, especially after that crash. That would be interesting to have him back on the show. What else you got? Anything else historically going on? I didn't even look. I usually look up at like this day in history.
Man, I got nothing.
Oh, let me see.
Oh, well, was that really? No, that can't be today.
What?
Hang on. What's today? Oh, come on.
Today's the 24th.
No, it's the 25th.
25th.
June 25th, 1950, the Korean War began.
Whoa.
North Korea crossed the 38th parallel.
I got a cool story about that. When I was in high school, this guy who owned the store Mary Rents in St. Peter's, he was a Korean veteran, but pre-Korean War. He was there when the DMZ was up, but it wasn't closed. And so he was talk about you would be standing your post, and then all of a sudden a Jeep of blonde-haired dudes would just go driving by. And like a Russian Jeep. Like the Russians would just drive down, like basically just testing to see how far south they could get. And they were Russian, like literal Russian dudes. And then eventually somebody would confront them, pull them over, arrest them. And they found out later they were probing to see how far they could just drive south to test our defenses and stuff. It was crazy.
Another significant event today in 1876. Colonel George Armstrong Custer made his last stand with the 7th Cavalry at the Battle of Little Bighorn.
But wasn't he really a major? Was he posthumously promoted to lieutenant colonel? Or was he a lieutenant colonel then promoted to colonel?
Yeah,
like
no, he was a lieutenant colonel at the time.
Okay. He was a fancy lad, too.
I mean, he was a general in the Civil War.
Yeah. What did they call that? A brevet general?
Yeah.
Where they just temporarily...
brevet rank.
Yeah.
They got rid of that after, I think, they used it in World War I, and it ended after that, because Patton was a captain and ended up becoming a colonel, full colonel in World War I.
Oh, today's the anniversary of Michael Jackson's death. No comment?
Huh? What?
The king of pop, man.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, Korean War began. Anne Frank, The Diary of Anne Frank, was first published. Oh, here we go. What's this? The Smith-Connolly Anti-Strike Act was enacted by the U.S. Congress, giving the president power to seize and operate privately owned war plants when a strike or threat of a strike interfered with war production.
Speaking of the Korean War, that was the only time that there was an active war in which the United Nations approved action and had a United Nations force. All because...
Korean War, yeah.
Yeah, all because the Soviet Union stormed out in protest, thinking they were doing the right thing, and then they quickly threw a vote to have a United Nations force, and the Soviet Union wasn't there to block it or to veto, and it got approved. That was a lesson learned from the Soviet Union.
Oh, yeah.
So no one ever leaves now, because one veto is all it takes to stop action.
Sure.
So, the Korean War wasn't just the United States. You had Britain there. You had Canada. Australia was there, Canada, and some others. I think Dutch fought there. I'm not sure that the French were involved.
Probably not.
At that time, because they were being all de Gaullish.
Oh, 1948, the Berlin airlift takes flight. United States and Britain began supplying West Berlin with food and other vital necessities by air after the Soviet Union's Berlin blockade. And wasn't that, what's his name, the Air Force General? LeMay, wasn't he the one who coordinated that?
It's possible.
I think he was the chairman of the Joint Chief, or he was the chief of the Air Force at that time.
And surprisingly, the Soviet Union didn't shoot at anybody.
Yeah, that they thought for sure this was going to kick it off, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me look up Curtis LeMay. Curtis Emerson LeMay. Berlin airlift. Because I think he's the one that came up with the idea. Yeah, he was the commander of the U.S. Air Forces in Europe, organized and initiated the Berlin airlift. He proved the feasibility of supplying the city by air and quickly appointed Major General William Tunner to scale and direct the massive operation. A 45-day mission.
Back when the United States did good stuff. Now we just rather just blow up a country because you disagree with us.
Yeah. Or, yeah.
Now, I don't know. Maybe our country's paying a little bit of penance now because they're sending all kinds of care down to Venezuela because they had two magnitude 7 earthquakes within seconds of each other.
That was really bad, man.
Yeah.
And, but they're within our hemisphere, or not hemisphere, our, what do you call it? Basically, what did we call it?
The Western Hemisphere.
Western Hemisphere, yeah. And that's our area of responsibility. They're our neighbors. We should help them out and take care of them, and they'll be our allies probably.
They're in the Americas.
Yeah. And that's a good use of our power.
Yeah,
right?
we don't do enough of that.
No, for sure.
Unfortunately.
And sometimes we do too much of it at weird thing. Like we're like, why are we?
Well, that was the Clinton Army.
Yeah. That's true.
The Clinton era, we just overdid it.
Peacekeeping missions everywhere.
Yeah, under the guise of peacekeeping.
Yeah. All right. How's that Redwood Empire treating you, man?
Good.
Still good?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good stuff. I wish I had more of it. It does leave my glasses empty, but it's very oaky.
I think my wife's right. We do have a boring show.
I don't know. Today wasn't very fun because we planned. I think we overplanned. I think the ones where we don't have a plan at all, those are usually more fun.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we gave it a shot. We're trying to be topical.
Whatever, man. Yeah, if you don't like it, go watch Joe Rogan, I guess. Like everybody
for
else.
4 hours. Anybody can do that.
I pick.
I really don't.
I pick, like, if he has an interesting guess, I'll listen, but it takes me a week to get through the episode. You know, I could get a good 30 minutes of it if I'm on the treadmill or something like that. But or if I'm driving down to our other location, I can get a good hour and a half. But sometimes I'd rather listen to a book, audiobook. Seen any good movies lately?
No.
I watched that Song Sung Blue with Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson. Not Kate Hudson. I don't know. Goldie Hawn's daughter. Is that Kate Hudson?
I don't know.
Kate something, I think. I don't know. But it's about this couple. These two people are impersonators. They sing other people's songs. Like she sang Patsy Cline, and he did like
Neil Diamond.
But well, eventually he did Neil Diamond. That's what he really liked, Neil Diamond. So they created this band that was like a tribute band. It wasn't an impersonating band. And they got real famous in Milwaukee, and then other stuff ensues. I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but man, if you want to cry your eyes out, go ahead and watch that movie with your wife one night. It's great music. It's fun. Like Neil Diamond songs are awesome, and it was a good movie. It was good. But yeah, it's a tearjerker, man. If you're a big crybaby like me,
okay,
I recommend it. And right now on Amazon, for $12.99, you could buy Project Hail Mary, which is pretty good. Usually those movies, if you want to buy it from Amazon, are like $25 or something like that. So you can get a good deal. But it's available to rent. I'd highly recommend that movie.
See, I just can't ever convince myself to buy a movie off Amazon if I can't physically own it.
Yeah. Well, this would probably be the only exception. We've never purchased a movie on Amazon. We've rented a couple every once in a while when we're feeling frisky. We want to spend $5 to rent a movie. But to buy one and like download it, but I would, if I could get it on DVD, I would do that because we actually do still have a DVD player. Then we can hook it up to the generator if the...
We put all our DVDs in the PS4.
Oh, okay.
Reads them just fine.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's one of our... I think we have VHS tapes too. We still have some VHS.
Well, I've got those.
Yeah, we hang on to them, man. Just like books, just hang on to them because you never know. Get the old solar generator cranked up if the power goes out and watch a DVD. I don't have anything else. General Patton is a very polarizing figure. There's aspects of him that I don't care for, but when you really like get through the polish of him and like his posturing and all that kind of stuff that he was all about, you really get to the man. Like he was pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of really wise nuggets from him that you could learn a lot from. And, you know, businesses in the civilian world have been taking lessons learned and leadership traits from the military forever. And it's a good thing, man. A lot of companies really like to hire veterans for one reason or another. And it's a good thing. It's a really good thing.
Hire more veterans.
Absolutely. I was looking for lawn care people because cutting my grass is breaking my back. And I searched for veteran-owned lawn care companies. I want to patronize those businesses. And I know they're going to show up on time and do a good job. And if not, I could scream at them. Like, I'll go put my drill sergeant hat on and stand on my porch in my underwear with my drill sergeant hat and yell at them.
Just don't even do that. Just stand out there with your hat on while they're mowing.
Yeah. My arms crossed my chest and just stare at them.
Just stand there. All right, Matt.
Well, thanks for listening, folks. Don't forget, like I said at the beginning of the show, like, share, subscribe. We want to know where you're from. We can see some of the analytics on Spotify, but we would love to hear from you. And thanks for listening.
Peace.